my my bell to to our Unity Spiritual Center in Lower Lake service today. And well, we are so fortunate to have Reverend Angelika Schafer with us today. She's an ordained interfaith minister serving various spiritual centers worldwide. Through her inspirational talks and her inspirational music. And we're honored to have her this morning to begin our service with opening prayers. Angelika, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you, everyone who is joining us, and many, many blessings right off the bat. Unconditional blessings. All right, there we go. So I will start out with an opening prayer. And this prayer is by Matt and Joy Kahn. It's just very beautiful. When the world is, as we have entered this new year, may we honor the world and its uncanny ability to bring forth waves of unique circumstances that invite us to anchor our soul's highest intentions in loving service to all. When the world is burning and filled with sudden loss and displacement, may we anchor the vibration of grace that helps each heart find their way through it, whether to the safety of higher ground or through the tunnel of light toward the next experience awaiting us all. When the world is divided, judgmental, and at the brink of global conflict, may we anchor the vibration of peace that allows the needs of all beings to be of equal importance. When the world seems unfriendly, rigid in its viewpoint, and dismissive of any other perspective, may we anchor the vibration of compassion that melts the walls dividing any heart from the light of Source. When the world feels like a numb, empty, uninspired place to be, and filled with lifeless bodies not knowing who they are or wanting to be here, or even for even a moment longer, may we anchor the vibration of love that allows us to find a renewal of purpose and connection, regardless of how others may choose to be. When the world is grieving its losses, desperate for greater perspective, and hungry for change, but without a willingness to face the choices and potential discomfort necessary for progress to occur, may we anchor the vibration of courage that invites all hearts to remember how necessary each contribution remains. For if you are here to be in the world, but not of the world, then now is the time to focus your energy on being whatever seems missing from the world. It is much like a cosmic potluck, where instead of seeking sustenance from the plates of other people's creations, you allow yourself to be fully nourished by what you bring to the party. No matter the circumstances in view, may you say out loud or silently to yourself, may I anchor the vibration of, and now please fill in your word, whether that's peace or love, or whatever it may be. May I anchor the vibration of for myself and the world around me, regardless of how I feel or what I choose to believe. Thank you, beloved Source, for delivering this vibration to all who are ready to receive it, and may it begin with me. And repeat this powerful mantra as often as necessary. It's a way of remembering that there is no moment too big to serve. There is no action too small to count. And let's just all take a nice deep breath together. And let's remain in that intention. And now I will share a song with you that I wrote in 2015. And it's called Simply Love. And it was my contemplation, and still is, about what I expected of life, or what I thought would make me happy, but didn't. And the reflection of maybe all of it comes from love. Maybe all of it is love's exploration of itself, even with the opposite of what it isn't. It's a mystery. If everything I think I am just comes and goes, how I thought life should be turns out to be false. Beyond the changing faces, what remains? Who am I? Who is asking? What does not change? Is it all simply love? Is it all love divine? Is it all simply love? Is it all love divine? In life's play I'm simply a part of the flow, and love is unfolding as love only knows. I pray for the grace to see love's perfect play in all that arises as part of me. Is it all simply love? Is it all love divine? Is it all simply love? Is it all love divine? And now I just would like to invite everybody. We'll do a part of a song by Mountain People Worship, the chorus mainly. And I would like to invite us all to touch our hearts and to activate our heart. No matter what happened before this moment, we can access and activate this heart. And it's powerful. It really is truly very powerful. So let's connect with the heart and with our divine, what they call the indweller. You know, some call it the Holy Spirit, some call it, the great source, whatever you want to call it, however you like to relate, it's up to you. but just feeling that love in your heart. And then what we're going to sing together is, my heart wants you. 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 Even when I'm awake, I'm dreaming. Even in my silence, I'm singing. My love, my peace. Even in my trials, I'm praising. Even through the fires, I'm gazing. My love, my peace. My heart wants you. My heart wants you. And let's remember that you is not something outside of us. It is our own beautiful heart, our own higher self, our own potential and sacred self. And that is what our little self, our little human character that we're playing, is always longing for. And it's this sweet, sweet love affair.
Thank you. Blessings. Excuse me. So I'd like to do our invocation affirmation, and I want you to think about it. And this is who we are. There is only one presence and one power active in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Then there is only one presence and one power active in Unity Clear Lake Center, God, the good, omnipotent. Finally, there is only one presence and one power active in our world, God, the good, omnipotent. The 5 basic ideas of unity is the foundation of unity. The first, God is absolute good, everywhere present. And human beings have a spark of divine spirit within them, the Christ consciousness within. Therefore, they are inherently good. Human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Prayer is the process that affirms our connection with God mind and brings forth wisdom, healing, and everything good. And finally, knowing and understanding universal laws, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. And now, the talk today from Reverend Angelika is coming and going, and she will tell us what remains. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Barbara. I want to start out with a quote of Abraham Hicks. through Esther Hicks. And they say, are you letting yourself experience the benefit of your precious focus and your vast experience in the here and now? You'll never get it done. You cannot get it wrong. So don't you think it's time for you to lighten up and start having more fun with all of this and accept that you are eternal beings? And since you are eternal beings, then there is no point in rushing, because there is never going to be a time when you don't exist. Now let's for a moment take that in. There is never going to be a time when we don't exist. But our little ego mind freaks out because it knows that the way we are expressing right now in this body, that will not be forever. We know that. That's temporary. So what is helpful for me, I look at this body as it's a rental car. And I'm going on this marvelous, incredible, adventurous trip on Earth with this rental car. And when it's no longer needed, I turn it in. I'll give it back to Earth, where it came from. And when we fully identify with the body and the mind and the emotions and what we experience in this realm here, we're fully focused here, only here, then there is a fear about disappearing. There's a fear about losing the vehicle that we inhabit and think it is us. And then there is a lack of trust from our conditioned mind, from, the way we were raised. I was raised in post-World War II Germany. There was no trust. How could they? Their whole world crashed. And so anyway, so trust didn't come easy. I had to cultivate it. But it isn't a trust in all the comings and goings of this world. It's a trust in that which stays, which remains. And it's that eternal being that is within us and all around us. We are a part of it. So we are like a fractal of God, a fractal of the source, the divinity, that incredible intelligence and love that created us. And for me, it's been an amazing journey of discovery, of being able to live more and more from that remembering. First, it took a lot of effort, like it would take willpower to focus on the truth, because the truth wasn't what I was really experiencing. As long as I had fear of dying and fear of change and fear of loss, which was very much in my lineage story, fear of loss. That's what the people in Southern California are experiencing right now. They're right in the middle of that kind of experience. And it looks so real when you're in it, and all we can do there is really extend our hearts, our prayer, to see the fires down, out completely, to see beings finding what they need and recovering from the shock of the loss. So on the human level, we will always do our utmost to be kind and compassionate and serviceful and helpful. But internally, we can serve best by remembering our true nature and by remembering those who suffer, their true nature, by remembering that they too are sovereign, eternal beings that are going through a temporary experience of incredible loss and suffering right now. But they too are eternal, and they too will give in their rental car when it's no longer useful. So it's I'm honest with you, it hasn't been that easy to change the focus, to shift the focus of identification to that part of me that is eternal, that will never go away. It cannot, because the mind cannot understand it. The mind is not equipped to understand it. Our little minds are just good for logistics, really. They are not at all equipped to figure out the mystery and the secrets and the problems of life. But we've been taught that that is what's going on in here is our only option, is our only operating system. And so we've all been having what I would call an inflamed mind and nervous system, because we've given this thing a job that it cannot do. It just cannot. So it's always in overdrive. It's always in tension. And the tension in the mind, of course, then, because it's all one with the nervous system throughout the body, that tension then expresses in the body. And if it becomes too unbearable, eventually it expresses as illness or unwellness. So I always address the mind and the emotions and that which we project and create. And as Barbara mentioned in her introduction, that the thoughts we have and the words we speak and the emotions and the intentions, they all turn into things. They all become our experience. Simply because we are powerful beings made in the image of Source, that which cannot be described or named by any words. And so there is an incredible power in our being and in our words, in our thoughts, in our actions. And so I always, all day long, I stay in awareness of what's going on in here. What is this mind generating? And if I do think thoughts or speak something that I don't like, I don't want to create, don't want to turn it into a thing, into a creation, I immediately say cancel, cancel, cancel. Because that cancels it out on all the different levels. The physical, the astral, the ethereal. So I cancel that energy that I just put into motion with an even greater intention. And I just say simply out loud, cancel, cancel, cancel. And that has worked really well for me, because we all slip up. Even if we have a well-trained dog here, minds are like dogs. They need good training. You know how annoying an untrained dog is? They jump up all over you, they slobber all over you, they knock you over, they do all kinds of stuff. They make messes in the house. But if it's well trained, it's a beautiful companion and servant. And it's the same with our minds. And in India, they have a funny expression, monkey mind. Monkey mind, because it's so busy and it's so cunning and mischievous. And so I am always looking at what is it doing. So the awareness is key. Awareness is key. So I would like to invite you to always be aware of when there is fears coming up, or like, in the world situations that we're facing. I'm sure that there is so much fear going on, of fires, of war, of conflicts, of lack, of any kind of calamity. And when that comes up, to be very aware of it, but to soothe your own heart, to talk to yourself as if you would with a child, to remind yourself that that is what seems to be, what we're seeming to be going through. But it is not who we truly are, that we are eternal beings, and we are guided through this experience, no matter what it brings, in just the way that is meant for our highest growth and for our highest development and evolution. So when I accepted that this world is a temporary evolutionary planet where souls come to have experiences, and not just for ourselves, but for our Creator, In a way, I call myself a reconnaissance angel. Reconnaissance is a military term. It's when you go into enemy territory and you check out the situation and you bring back information. And so I'm here on Earth visiting, and I'm experiencing through my own system what it's like to play this game of being something other than I really am. And for a while I got very lost in that game, and I thought I was that other thing. And then I woke up and I realized, oh my gosh, it's just a role I'm playing, not just for my own learning and evolution and purpose, but I'm actually feeding that information back to Source, to God, to experience itself in all these different possibilities. It wants that. It loves that. It just wants to have experience. It doesn't judge anything as right or wrong or good or bad. That's what we do here. But the Source just invites every experience, no matter how terrifying or dark it seems, or how light and incredible and bright it seems, because through that it explores its own nature and contrast and all possibilities. So if you imagine a movie, you buy a ticket and you go to this movie, and then there is just light on the screen, right? Or maybe, if you're lucky, there might be a Buddha figure sitting blissfully in meditation, and nothing happens. Nothing else. That's the whole movie, right? Would you be a little bored, or would you just kind of wish for something else to happen? And I imagine that's our divine. You know, our divine is the character in the movie, wrote the script, plays the role as us, and doing the whole show. But it got a little bored, and so it wanted all this variety. And that's the out-breath. They say it's the out-breath of God that manifests. That's all these forms and variety, and then it breathes in, and it becomes the great whole absolute stillness again. And like I said, it's hard to put that into words. But so I believe that whatever I focus on really grows. It really does. And these days, it's much faster. So I really watch what I focus on. Like I said, I say cancel, cancel, cancel if the focus is where I don't want it. But it takes a great willingness to see and to question the false programs that have been put into us from society, from parents, from religion, from all kinds of angles, ever since we were in the womb of our mothers. And to see those programs, to question them, and then to actively be willing to undo them, to renounce them, to say, this is not me. It looks like me, but it isn't. And then replace them with the truth and tangible actions and new habits that we then commit to doing every day. You know, it was Dr. Joe Dispenza who said that if you don't change your habits of thinking, of emoting, feeling, and speaking and acting, nothing will ever change in your life. Excuse me for a second. He said, nothing will change in your life. So in order to make a change for the better, something that would delight us, that would bring us more fulfillment and joy and less fear and less worry about the situation in the world, the more we do something every day that brings us closer to our true heart's goal, the more we will get there. And so another secret is by focusing on what we don't want, which is all the crazy drama of the world, the wars and fires and the news. And have you noticed that the news are always reporting the most horrible things, not the best things? There's just as much good in this world, just as much, if not more. And the news doesn't report that, so we have lopsided presentation. And it's all designed to keep us ensnared and snagged in this quagmire of these projections. So I don't put junk food into my mind. I don't watch the news. I do not let my emotions get riled up, because I believe that when I do that, I focus my incredibly divine, powerful attention and intention on that which we don't want. I don't want it, you don't want it. And whenever we focus on it and we get negative emotions going, we're giving it our juice, our life force. We're actually helping to strengthen that and to keep creating that and projecting that. That's not what we want. So if I do watch sometimes, once in a while, I know what's going on, but I just don't dwell on it. I don't get into it so that I get all, What I do is immediately I watch this, I see everyone as a divine being. I see everyone as a sovereign being that may have even chosen this experience for whatever reason I cannot fathom, but I need to trust that their divinity, just like my divinity, has chosen this life experience just as it is. Now, that requires a lot of faith, and it requires that we're not judgmental about how the world appears. There's so many beautiful stories about the Zen master or somebody wise who some calamity happened in their lives, and the people of the village come and they go, "Oh, this is so terrible." And he goes, "Maybe." And then something good happens and the people come and say, "Oh, how wonderful. Well, how lucky you are." He goes, "Maybe." And so the stories go into the details, something bad happens, something good happens, and on and on. And he always says, "Maybe. I don't know if it's bad or good." And in the end, it turns out that what people thought was so bad and negative turned out to save his life, turned out to be so it was exactly opposite of what it seemed. And I have that feeling about the events in our world, that it isn't how it seems. And I know there's lots of powerful projections, just very much like the movies. And when you look Hollywood, how many Armageddon movies they have put out, how much fear porn, how much disaster and drama they have put out on screen, put into people's minds and hearts. So many people focus on that. Again, that makes it grow. That makes it express here. So our very, very important question is, what do we project? What do we express? What do we contribute to? And if we do this all together, we contribute to the vision of how we want this world to be, the life experience we would like to see for ourselves, full of harmony, cooperation, peace, helping each other out, joy, celebration. The more we focus on that, what we want to see, the more that will come to pass. So I know that path to freedom from that conditioned mind and that voice in the head that constantly regurgitates the untruth that it has learned seems almost impossible at times. I know it did to me, but I can promise you it isn't. It just takes a little courage to question the programming. So let's reflect for just a moment where you have taken something you judge as negative in you for truth. Where have you taken something in yourself for truth that you just judge as negative? Like you think, "Oh, I am this way and I can't help it." It's a program. So I would like to urge you to question that. You are none of those things. So let's look at it this way. We are like the sky. Our consciousness is like the sky. And sometimes thoughts and feelings come through our sky. And they're just clouds. They're like clouds, and the clouds, you know what happens? They blow through and eventually dissipate. Sometimes the clouds are so thick and they form this huge thick layer of a storm and darkness and wild wind and destruction. But above them is the sun, and it's always the same. The sun is always shining the same. So when we can see these clouds are not who we are, they are something that for some reason they're passing through our sky. We can watch them, observe them, and even appreciate them, and let them just float through, not hold on to any of them, not make them stick. And that is what eventually that practice of disidentifying with all those thoughts and feelings that disturb us and focusing on our true nature, which is sky-like, sun-like, that eventually will bring new habits of thinking, new habits of feeling, a whole new experience of life. And I tell you, this journey is so worthwhile. And especially right now, we have the most incredible help and assistance because we are going through a different vibrational space where much more of the photonic light can hit the planet. In India, they talk about 26,000 year cycles. We're at the end of one of those, and we're starting a whole new cycle where consciousness can raise because the light is different quality and much, much higher frequency now. So the chaos is a time that we go through because all the old stuff is breaking apart and purging out of our system personally as well as collectively. And yes, it looks terrifying, but it is not. It's not permanent. It will not stay. But what is permanent is our true heart, our true spirit, that which makes us seek for a higher path, that which guides us to look for other different solutions. We do remember it. We just have to focus more of our energy. So I want to share a little bit of Mel and Thomas Benedict's story, because he was a fellow that passed away. His is one of the most beautiful and famous near-death experiences, and this was in the 70s. So he had an unusual mindset when he died. He was curious, and he wasn't afraid. So those two qualities made his experience so unique, so that he could bring back the gifts that he found on the other side, beyond the veil. So he calls it the great compassionate light, which many other saints and sages and people that have had near-death experiences also emphasize as well. And that is our true nature. So when Melon died, he didn't just go through the tunnel. He asked the light to reveal itself, to show him its nature. He was just curious. And he recounts, the light kept changing into different figures, like Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, mandalas, archetypal images and signs. I asked the light, what is going on? Please, light, clarify yourself. I really want to know the reality of the situation. And the light responded telepathically. The information transferred to me was that our beliefs shape the kind of feedback we are getting before the light. And I'm going to insert my own observation and belief that all our thoughts and feelings about dying and our expectations create the experience we will have in the afterlife, but not only that which we're conscious of. it's also the subconscious. Like if someone really believes that they're guilty and, worthy of punishment, they might project some hell realm where they find themselves. But it's not imposed on us. So that's why it's very important to cultivate these qualities now, because the sum total of our mental activity around dying, our attitude in life, and what we focus on, that sum total will create the next experience. So really, let's be careful. Let's cultivate the garden so it's not full of weeds that we don't want, but full of good vegetables and fruits. So he says, the information transferred to me was that our beliefs shape the kind of feedback we are getting before the light. If you were a Buddhist or Catholic or fundamentalist, you get a feedback loop of your own stuff. You have a chance to look at it and examine it. But most people do not. As the light revealed itself to me, I became aware that what I was really seeing was our higher self matrix. Our higher self matrix. We all have a higher self, or an oversoul part of our being. It revealed itself to me in its truest energy form. It is a direct connection to the source that each and every one of us have. We are directly connected to source. The light was showing me the higher self matrix. I was not committed to one particular religion, so that is what was being fed back to me during my life after death experience. I asked the light to keep clearing for me, to keep explaining. I understood what the higher self matrix is. We have a grid around the planet where all the higher selves are connected. This is like a great company, a next subtle level of energy around us. The spirit level, you might say. Then the light turned into the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen. A mandala of human souls on this planet. Now, I came to this with my negative view of what has happened to the planet. So Mellon Thomas saw humanity as something like a cancer, and he actually passed away from cancer. So as I asked the light to keep clarifying for me, I saw in this magnificent mandala how beautiful we all are in our essence, our core. We are the most beautiful creations. The human soul, the human matrix that we all make together is absolutely fantastic, elegant, exotic, everything. I just cannot say enough about how it changed my opinion of human beings in that instant. I said, "Oh God, I did not know how beautiful we are." At any level, high or low, in whatever shape you are in, you are the most beautiful creation. You are. That is what doesn't come and doesn't go. It doesn't matter if we haven't discovered this yet, or experienced it yet, or fully brought it out yet. It is what we are. So Mellon goes, "I was astonished to find that there was no evil in any soul." I said, "How can this be?" The answer was that no soul was inherently evil. The terrible things that happen to people might make them do evil things, but their souls were not evil. What all people seek, what sustains them is love, the light told me. What distorts people is a lack of love. And the revelations coming from the light seemed to go on and on. And then I asked the light, "Does this mean that humankind will be saved?" Then, like a trumpet blast with a shower of spiraling lights, the great light spoke, saying, "Remember this and never forget. You save, redeem, and heal yourself. You always have, You always will. You were created with the power to do so from before the beginning of the world. Now, I know that's a lot to take in, but humans are very childlike. They always look for mommy and daddy and a savior to save them. But what is going to save, or what has already saved us, is our true nature. It's not our little selves that run around frightened and scared and make a mess of things. It's actually our true self. And to the degree that we remember that, so many calamities could be avoided. So many things of this chaotic stuff could be bypassed if we could remember it more quickly. So let's do our best. So in that instant, Melon says, I realized even more. I realized that we have already been saved. And we saved ourselves because we were designed to self-correct like the rest of God's universe. This is what the second coming is about. I thank the light of God with all my heart. The best thing I could come up with during my near-death experience was these simple words of total appreciation. Oh, dear God, dear universe, dear great self, I love my life. And for me, that's also a big statement that I've come to. I now love my life. But it wasn't always like that. When I grew up, there was so much pain and terror. I wanted to get off this planet all the time. I couldn't wait to get out of here. And now I can say I'm fully here. Dear God, dear universe, dear great self, I love my life. Thank you. So this is the river of life, the light responded. Drink of this nectar to your heart's content. So I did. I took the big drink and then another. To drink of life itself. I was in ecstasy. And then the story goes on a while. I'm running out of time, so you can look it up on the internet and read. It's so worthwhile to read again and again. It's so beautiful. But just to sum up the talk, the main points are we need to actively shift our allegiance, our identity, and our focus to what we truly are. And the more we do it, the more that will become our reality. Like in the fires, you sometimes see a row of houses completely incinerated, and yet one is still standing completely perfect, like nothing was damaged. How does that happen? It happens like this. It's what we choose to focus. It will become our reality. Remember, every thought, especially connected with feelings, creates. It becomes a thing. And it's important to know that if we do not make changes in our habits of thinking, feeling, behaving, nothing will change. We will remain trapped in something false and small. So there are many, many practical exercises that we can use to remember the self. And if I did a workshop, I would go into those in depth. But I go by invitation, so if there is interest, I will do a workshop and come. But if there is no interest, that's okay. So claiming our divine power and authority and the use of our will, desire, and intention to create what brings you joy. Create what brings you joy. Because it's the vibration of your thoughts and feelings and words that create. So pick something that brings you joy. Maybe it's something that you enjoyed as a child and then thought it wasn't practical and put it aside. Bring it back out. Do what brings you joy. That's the best vibration to start from, regardless of what the world is doing. Okay. So just imagine you have no past and no future. And just for a moment, You get out of the mind and the mental chatter and experience this, which Jeff Foster describes so well, presence. Jeff says, presence is the ultimate paradox. In presence, you disappear, yet you are fully awake, fully here. There is nothing to defend, nothing to protect, not your name, not your past, not your beliefs, nothing. It is death, yet you are fully alive. It is pure loneliness, yet you are utterly connected, one with all there is. All the opposites collapse into a delicious immediacy. It's a stateless state of total immersion, absorption, profound intimacy with life. It's a much needed rest at the end of a long journey. It's what you've always been seeking. It is your own heart. Let's take a nice deep breath together. That's presence. And I send blessings and love to everyone, every one of us. We deserve it more than we know. And I will share another song that came to me in meditation. I think it was at the end of December 2022 that this song came into my head, and I ran up to where I could find a writing pad so I wouldn't forget it. And it's my invitation, and the song is called Through the Open Door. Let's see here. Walk with me through the open door. Something now is calling us home, stronger than ever before. Walk with me through the open door. Now we can walk each other home and follow the music of our soul. Were we ever really lost? Or was that just a dream? Perhaps it's up to us. What we decide is real. Are we ready to let go of all we think we know? Of everything we thought and ways that we were taught. Walk with me through the open door. Something now is calling us home, stronger than ever before. Walk with me through the open door. Now we can walk each other home and follow the music of our soul. It takes just what it takes for hearts and minds to change. We got a little lost to find our way again. And anyone who wants can now be really free. Opportunity is here, it's speaking loud and clear. Walk with me through the open door. Something now is calling us home, stronger than ever before. Walk with me through the open door. Now we can walk each other home and follow the music of our soul. It is time now. It is time to be home right now. It is time now. It is time to be home right here, right here, right here.
Thank you, Angelica. So please stay. She has a closing song that I know we don't want to miss. So just a few short announcements, just to remind you that the Future Talks next Sunday at church. Patricia Holler will be speaking on the peace that passes all understanding. And we'll have Bill Barrows for music at church and stay for a potluck. Should be wonderful as always. And at the end of the month, January 28th, Zoom service with Reverend Margie Brock. I go to meet my good. And Margie will share this wonderful talk, and Bill Barrows will sing again for us. Wonderful. And so, as we go along, then, just remember that the donations are greatly appreciated. Mail to P.O. Box 75 Unity at P.O. Box 755 in Lower Lake, California 95457. P.O. Box 755, Lower Lake 95457. And now, Angelica, can't wait to hear your closing songs, meditations, whatever. And people, after that, we can unmute and stay for a few moments of chat if that's if you want to. But this is what beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and Thank You is the name of the song. So I wrote
Really.
that song in 2018, and it's just very simple. And if you pick up songs quickly, just sing with me. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your way, Lord. Thank you for this grace right now. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your way, Lord. Thank you for this grace right now. Let my heart come home where the truth abides. Let my love be free with nothing more to hide. Help me open all the way. Call my spirit home. There's nothing more to say. Just thank you, thank you. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your way, Lord. Thank you for this grace right now. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your way, Lord. Thank you for this grace right now. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your way, Lord. Thank you for this grace right now. Thank you for your way, Lord. Thank you for your way, Lord. Thank you for this grace right now. This grace right now.